Well, hello everyone and welcome to my channel, Hades Corner with me, Heidi. Of course, today I have, as always, my lovely co-hosts, Stefan, there we go, and of course, my first, my first co-host, I think he was the very first, I think he was before Stefan, is Bertil. Hello! Okay, thank you very, very much for tuning in. Um, when this, at the time of filming, well, okay, when this is published, when this goes live, it's Monday, 26th of July, and at the time, this article is on, um, as is at the time of recording. Uh, And then, of course, I must divulge that there could have been, there may have been, there is mentions of a possible or hearing coming up about this subject. So this, there could be a European Union workshop statement about this, but I will give you an update once I get back on track in a couple of weeks. I will have recorded episodes until Monday, the 26th of July. Uh, the and as of Friday the 9th until Monday the 26th, there will be recorded episodes, but of course, I will get back to you live on Friday, July 30th, which will see the episode of another episode of History with Heidi. Okay, first off, now, about my channel. There has been growth. At this point, there has been growth in viewer counts, and the amount of hours watched, but still no new subscribers at the time of filming. And I would really, really, really love you even more if you could subscribe. Thumbs up, thumbs down, and subscribe. Tickle the notification bell for to get all the notifications. Now that out of the way, to today's subject. Oh, and the challenge to for debate uh, those who are in disagreement with yours truly and the scientific consensus and the ruling and the consensus of the experts of International Olympic Committee with regards to the the whether or not transgender athletes can compete in um, in categories consistent with their uh, reassigned gender. I have arranged for a third-party channel to host a moderated civil discussion and a debate on this matter, whether or not I'm the proponent that transgender people should be able to compete in as high up as Olympic Games in the category consistent with their uh, reassigned gender. Okay, so please email me. I've arranged with a neutral channel, so please if you wish to debate me on this matter, send me an email and we'll figure out the details. All I need to do is just say when to this the to those who run this channel, the other channel. I mean, I run my own channel, but hey. Okay, topic tonight for Monday news. EU urged to suspend funds to Hungary over grave breaches of the rule of law. I have previously I've mentioned and gone through news of the horrible. So how shall I put this? Well, horrible repression and and quote unquote witch hunts against LGBT plus people. The Hungarian government has now seized control of all universities, which are now in under direct orders of Viktor Orbán, the leader, the Hungarian leader of I'd say dictator regime. I'm sorry, but it's a dictator regime. Okay, so let's go to the article. There we go. Okay. This is from The Guardian. EU urged to suspend funds from the Hungary over grave breaches of the rule of law. And action follows Viktor Orbán's passing law banning LGBT content in school and mishandling EU funds. So this is Mr. Orbán. He has been not only is a dictator, not only is he oppressing LGBT plus people, he is also mishandling public funds. So he's a man of many sins. So Ursula von der Leyen is being the president of the European Commission. Ursula von der Leyen is being urged to suspend EU funds to Hungary to force Viktor Orbán to address concerns over politicized courts and corruption. Yes, he is in direct control of the court system. MEPs who work on the European Parliament's Budgetary Control Committee are calling on the European Commission President, Ms. von der Leyen, to use newly created EU law to freeze payments to Hungary for grave breaches of the rule of law. So he's abusing state funds already. If that is not being a dictator, if that isn't the sign of being a dictator, what is? Misusing government funds for personal gain. It is the latest salvo against the Hungarian Prime Minister, who last month faced unprecedented criticism from fellow EU leaders over a law that bans depiction of gay people in educational material. This is something I touched on in the previous episode of Monday News. So they are basically erasing the existence of LGBT plus people, even those LGBT plus kids and teens who sit in the class. They hear, you do not exist, or at least you shouldn't exist. So the European Parliament is expected to condemn that law is in resolution on Thursday that will urge the Commission to launch fast-track legal case against Hungary for the persecution of LGBT plus people. Long before the Hungarian parliament passed the controversial LGBT law, EU member states and MEPs were alarmed by Hungary's spending of EU funds, including a contract for street lights awarded to Orbán's son-in-law. Yeah, that reminds me of the time of the Iron Curtain, as well as vintage train to Orbán's home village. Yeah, that's interesting, isn't it? Yeah. Okay. The MEPs based their case on a report by 3 academics who conclude that grave breaches of the rule of law mean the EU executive is legally justified in suspending payments to Hungary to protect EU taxpayers, which would be the right thing to do. All right. So, the report highlights laboratories in 43 schools that cost 1 million euros or 850,000 UK pounds each, and were funded by the European Social Fund. And the following investigation found that each classroom was charged separately for the development of textbooks, even though all used the same books. No, there we go. How am I not surprised at this point? All right. Brussels asked for some money to be repaid after concluding that the Hungarian authorities had not corrected several spending irregularities. Well, that's curious. There's little wording there. I mean, it's every so unfortunately it's every so often that these kind of shall we say states that are in a state of dictatorship or on the way there, on the way to that status, which is quite it, yeah. Well, interesting. Okay, so going forward, and I quote, "What we want is for the rule of law to function in Hungary, not because we have a sanctions fetish," said a German Green MEP, Daniel Freund, who commissioned the report. "We basically want the re-establishment of the rule of law," end quote. Well said, well said. The MEPs are suggesting a particular amount of money to be frozen. In 2018, Hungary received 6.3 billion euros from the EU, equivalent to nearly 5% of its economy. That is Hungary's economy. The Hungarian government has requested a further 7.2 billion euros from the EU Coronavirus Recovery Fund. Are they going to get the entire amount? I highly doubt it. It would be up to the Commission to decide which EU payments to freeze, Freund said, and I quote, "It should not be ordinary Hungarian citizens that suffer from this. It should punish the government." So, and they it just should, you know? So, the Commission would have to identify the right budget lines. End quote. It. I mean, he is Daniel Freund is right um, on this. It shouldn't be the average Hungarians who should be made to suffer from this. All right. So, okay, going on. And I quote, "I think the Commission has to explain to everyone else why billions and billions of your taxpayer money is going to Hungary when there is no management and control system that works on the ground," said MEP Freund. This is just absolute horseshit that there's so very little that the European Union can do, apparently, or they or at least, okay, they could, but whether or not they are willing to do these things. Sorry about the coffee. All right, it's this guy Orban is just another dick. All right. So there's been a number of issues he's had to face. He's been confronted by the EU leaders regarding the LGBTQ plus rights and the persecution. I think it's rightful to say that it's persecution at this point. And the passing of the law to ban the LGBT content in schools, and actually children's TV programs. So they are basically just erasing the existence of LGBTQ plus people. And even the UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson has raised up the issues with Orban in May, say, according to the Downing Street 10. And it's Orban's party, called Fidesz, is just another populist far right dipshit party. Ignorant, mostly, as I understand it, religious numbnuts, which shouldn't. These kinds of people have no position in politics in 2021. And a guy named Viktor Orban, and his BFFs. They shouldn't be in any way. They shouldn't be in charge in any shape or form, regardless of whatever anyone else thinks. So, okay, let's go finish up the oops there. Oops. Okay. Any back to the Guardian.com article. Any attempt to hold payments to an EU country over democratic checks and balances would be a test case for the EU's rule of law conditionality, and I quote, conditionality regulations. Hungary's government is challenging the law in the European Court of Justice and prompting concerns that the Commission may be reluctant to act. I'm not. I wouldn't be surprised if it would be the case. It would actually be the case that the Commission would chicken out, because yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if the Commission and the Parliament and the entire EU organization would just weasel out of this. I wouldn't be surprised. Which is kind of questionable practice in regards to the noble noble words and noble attempted legislation over the things like this and many other things, unfortunately. Okay. A European Commission spokesperson said and I quote, the regulation entered into force on January 1st of January 2021, and the Commission has been the regulation entered into force on 1st of January 2021, and the Commission has been monitoring possible breaches of the rule of law principle that would be relevant under the regulation since day one. And Orbán was just this week named and I quote, press freedom predator by Reporters Without Borders. That would be the same equivalent to the Doctors Without Borders, Médecins Sans Frontières. So I did not know they had this kind of organization, but it's good. All right. I think this is just I think this is just the beginning of a long saga, and long saga of rowing back and forth, being the Hungarian government being just a massive cunt, and Viktor Orbán being a cowardly man, for the lack of in the lack of a better expression. I mean, what kind of a person would do something like this? I wouldn't go. Certain dictators in the European history would have done similar things. like Viktor Orbán, and as well as the Polish government that has now is doing similar shit, similar type of shit in their own in Poland, which I touched on in the previous episode of last week, which they've had similar these LGBT plus freedom zones, or excuse me, LGBT free zones in Poland, and one of them took it back. I mean, they're no longer a a free a zone free of LGBT plus people, which is a step towards the right decision, I guess. Um, yeah, why not? I truly hope that by doing that, the European Commission would actually uh, go into a full action mode with regards to the defunding of the Hungarian government, at least from the was it 6.1 billion euros. Yeah, 6.3, and they were asking for 7.2 more. That would be 13.5 billion, which is quite a decent amount of money, shall we say. So I I truly hope things would change eventually, and I will. It will most likely it will be. Uh, there will be new developments on this on the saga regarding Hungary and Hungary, let alone Poland. So we'll I'll it's highly likely that I will get back to this topic at a later date. Uh, at this point, um, you will have seen my episodes during my holiday, 2.5 week holiday, and it's I'll be back on Friday for the first live show in a few weeks. Um, so basically, what I am going to do is will keep going with history with Haiti, and Monday, as well as Monday news for now. There will be at some point there will be I will launch a new show which will which I won't disclose as of right now. This during by now you have seen my wonderful guests, Mr. 42 and Mr. Conspiracy Cats, in the two episodes of History with Haiti. Discussion, fun discussions, very fun discussions. So about the queer history, the Dutch queer history, etc. And we touched on the Utrecht sodomy trials of 1730 to 1731 with Mr. 42, and as I've previously I had already touched on with either I think it was the very first episode of History with Haiti where I talked about Alan Turing, Uh, then now I then being reminiscing his queer history and what happened to him due to being gay, the horrible things. Now and this time, I hope you enjoyed the chat I had with Mr. Katz um, about Mr. Alan Turing's science, uh, which is history that deserves to be remembered. In especially in this case, he had a profound effect on the course of the world history since his inventions, and I hope you truly enjoyed the chats I had with Conspiracy Cats. So, and you can then find and you can find the links to his to Cats to Mr. Katz's and Mr. 42's social media, or rather their YouTube channels, Mr. 42, and then Baldy Cats, Conspiracy Cats, Agree to Disagree, and Katz's Twitter. You can find them in each in the Dutch history episode. You'll find Mr. 42's link to his channel, and then with the video about Alan Turing with Mr. Katz, I linked his Conspiracy Cats, Boulder Cats, and Agree to Disagree, which is a debate channel where he runs with Craft Tequila, and I've been on and I've been debate and I was in a debate. He's on Agree to Disagree a bit over a year ago when it launched on the first episode. It was all jolly good fun. So I highly recommend you head up to their channels and check Mr. Katz's Twitter. Okay, I'm going to keep. I'll probably. I'm gonna keep this short. All right. So because I will get back to this. So you'll hear me babbling on about this situation with Hungary because uh it's still developing, shall we say. So so I'll get back to this when there's something a bit more a bit more to go on, and when I know when there's a bit more information, and whenever there's a decision from the European Commission, whether or not they will cut the funding, and if so, how much, and if and the reasoning behind any of these possible outcomes. All right. So I hope you have had a wonderful couple of weeks, and there will be links in the description box. You will find the links to my playlists, season 1, season 2 Monday News, Friday Facts, which was an 8 episode series of LGBTQ plus facts, from, for example, what it's like, what it means to be transgender, etc. History with Haiti, coming up, the next live show coming up on this week, Friday the 30th. First live show in a few weeks. So, and then there is the link to special files, which is special shows with special people. And then the one episode of Sunday specials. There will be more of Sunday specials to come later on, which I will disclose later. Now, the Sunday special is the first episode I had, and the only so far was with my partner. We tried out different Japanese snacks we got from Japan. We tasted them live, which was all jolly good fun, you know. It was really, really, really fun. Yeah. So then there's the link to my Discord, links to my Discord servers, my channels, server, Heidi's Corner, and then LGBT plus safe space server, which is as the name implies, meant to be a safe haven and a safe place for all LGBT plus people and our allies to discuss, to chat and have jolly good fun. We've had wonderful discussions, or a few members have, about photography, sharing photos. They've taken some really absolutely stunning pictures and photos, and the technology behind the curious technology behind photography. And there's fun stuff coming up with it with regards to the photography theme on that LGBT plus safe space server. But that is to be published and announced later once it's been put into practice. So I hope you've enjoyed this episode of History with Heidi, and I would like to say bye. Say bye to Bertil. Hello. Okay, and Stefan. Hello. Okay, and I will see you on Friday with the first live show in a few weeks, or for in a while, an episode of History with Heidi this week, Friday the July 30th, and I will say goodbye and see you on Friday.